Her smile shines as bright as the stars at night. Her heart is as kind as can be. She has the patience of a saint, but if you push her, oh Lordy. A straight talker is smiling. She's the salt of the earth. Make no mistake, she matters. Catch Smiley's story on a live stream. Oh boy, that girl can matter. Go Smiley. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. Make no mistake why she's here. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. If you're guilty, she'll smell out your fear. Missing posters and stories of heartache and fear. She tells us all of the heartbreaking tears. She can sniff out the guilty from a mile away. If Smiley's on the case, then she's here to stay. She cares about these missing children. She cares deeply about them all. She speaks the truth with integrity. For the truth, she will seek it all. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. Make no mistake why she's here. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. If you're guilty, she'll smell out your fear. Smiley's questions are like a heat-seeking missile. She's going straight for the bullseye. Don't ever believe you can fool her. She's too wise, man, she won't comply. She values freedom like the 4th of July. She values respect even more. If you want to earn a place at Smiley's table, watch the clock, it takes time for sure. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. Make no mistake why she's here. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. If you're guilty, she'll smell out your fear. If you break her trust, you're done for. Trust don't grow back like grass. So don't give Smiley a reason to doubt you, or that friendship will shatter like glass. She's a damn good woman, that much we know. She puts in the hours to bring them kids home. If your child is missing, you want Smiley on the case. She is always willing and she gives so much grace. She's a Smiley, alright. She's a Smiley. Make no mistake why she's here. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. If you're guilty, she'll smell out your fear. If you're guilty, you better feel fear.
Uh-oh, that was some technical difficulties, wasn't it? Good morning. Happy Thursday morning, everybody. It's August 28th. Hello to everybody in the house this morning. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you're doing well this morning. Early bird gets the worm, I'm just saying. Hey, H. Davis, good morning. Good to see you. Good morning, Angel Wings and Dawn Emery. And hey, Jude. Hello. Gypsy Girl. Hello. I'm so glad you're here. Kimberly, good morning. Plant Lady. Hello. Nice to see you all. The Priscilla, 519. Good morning. Good to see you. Welcome in, everybody. I am so glad to see y'all. Terry Parker, good morning. Terry's in the house. Angel Wings is in the house. Let's see who we got. Stephanie Williams. Let's see here. Let's see. Lady Q's in the house. Up and got you coffee this morning. Hello, hello. Let's see here. Garrett, hello, hello. Who else we got? Christy Smith. All right, all right. Hold on. Somebody's alarm's going off in this house. Hold on a minute. Sorry about that. That alarm is loud, honey. I had to go make sure it wasn't for me. I don't sit by alarms. And Garrett, good to see you in the house. Let's see, where was I at? Everybody in here this morning? Lord have mercy, everybody. I don't know, but hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. I hope everybody has their coffee this morning. Hey, Janice, beautiful Janice in the house. In the house, up in the house. So, how's everybody doing? You got your coffee? I wanted to do a live this morning just to break y'all in. Just to break y'all in this morning. And nothing so important, but I want to tell y'all. I know you can't see the words on here. I think you can see the words on my ugly mug right there on the thumbnail. I hope so. But anyway, it says, I don't believe a word Jake says, and I don't. I don't. So okay, yeah, you're fine, Lady Q. Yep, get your coffee, honey. Get your coffee. Everybody needs coffee this morning. Everybody needs coffee. Oh gosh, I'm telling you what. But you know what? I don't believe a word any of these people say. But you know, the more I got me a little bit of sleep last night, and so the more I thought about it this morning, I'm like, we're going to go over this again. We're just going to go over it again because I don't believe a word Jake said. If he said it, okay? If he said it, I I usually don't put out disclaimers because you know I'm just smiley that way. I don't. But I'm gonna tell y'all, this stream is for informational and entertainment purposes only. Okay. And criticism and all the things. But it's you know, everybody's innocent until proven guilty. And it may not be considered legal or professional advice by any means, especially not by me at all. I cannot help what anybody does with this stream at all. At all. I just can't. So, you know, I make no representations or anything like that. That any of this information is accurate. I try to be as accurate as possible, honey. But I am just telling y'all that is my little disclosure this morning. Okay. Good morning, Donna. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. So, yeah. So, you know, allegedly, Jake has said he rolled over on the baby. That really got to me this morning. I mean, yesterday, so much was going on and this, that, and the other. I thought, yeah, I got to break y'all in a little bit. I think we'll start off by watching something because before I start running my mouth, maybe I need to let this sink in a little bit more. So let's go with a little bit of tiny music here, a little bit of tiny music. Give everybody a chance to come in if they want to. There's that. Let's see. We need a reminder this morning, as far as I'm concerned. Reminder. That one. That one. Okay. This will be News Nation. Let's listen to this one first.
That Jake Harrow, baby Emmanuel's father, told police that he accidentally rolled over in bed. This is what sources are telling me, and accidentally killed baby Emmanuel, and then buried baby Emmanuel in a place so that he could go there to grieve him, which obviously made no sense. But when you think back to the weekend, Ashley, when police were out searching with Jake Harrow in the jumpsuit, they had him out there. Very unusual to see that right along the freeway there in that area. It lines up with the story from my sources that he had indicated, and he's had a couple of stories, which I'll get into, but with this story that he had indicated to police that he buried baby Emmanuel after accidentally killing him.
So the other question I have for you is the second story. The first story was he tells the police he's rolled over on the baby and buries the baby's body out on, near the highway, clearly leading to those pictures. But then there's a second version of Jake Harrow speaking in jail. What did you learn about this?
Yeah, and this is very interesting. So sources tell me that there was something called a Perkins operation, which is not unusual in California. And this is when either an undercover police officer, or not a police officer, but an informant, basically pretends to be an inmate in the jail to get information out of someone who is in custody. And I am told that there was a Perkins operation involving Jake Harrow. And as a result of that operation, they got information, the detectives, that Jake Harrow had killed baby Emmanuel and had put, and it's awful to say, I mean, it's just awful, but had put baby Emmanuel into a trash can.
So I want to play something from the district attorney in this case, speaking to
Good
reporters
morning, everybody
about
coming in.
the fact that they have a pretty strong idea of where they think baby Emmanuel is. Let's play that.
We have a pretty strong indication of where the remains of baby Emmanuel are. That investigation is ongoing at this time. The filing in this case reflects our belief that baby Emmanuel was abused, victim of child abuse over time, and that eventually, because of that abuse, he succumbed to those injuries.
So two questions there. We have a strong indication of where the remains of baby Emmanuel are. How does that square with this story that police say Jake Harrow told to, the plant in the jail that I killed the baby and threw the baby in a trash can?
Yeah, I mean, look, they must have some other information, because when they're saying that there's been a history of abuse, whether it's
and no, I don't believe
neighbors
it's true,
or from, who knows, videos or phones or pictures or whatever, where they have now put together a timeline that baby Emmanuel was abused over time. But it's also interesting, Ashley, that at that press conference, the DA was specifically asked, did you get a confession out of Jake Harrow? And he said no. And he almost seemed mad about it, that they were asking about it. And he said no, which would conflict, you would think, with my reporting. And I just want to tell you, I've double, triple, quadruple checked. I stand by my reporting. I think we're down to semantics here. And in the legal world, a confession.
Good morning, Tammy T. Thank you for your support and being a member for 19 months.
I don't know what the DA's definition of confession is when it comes to what he would want it to be in a court of law. But I stand by my reporting when it comes to the Perkins operation and what resulted from that operation, Ashley.
It's hard to believe that they can make the statement, we believe that he was subject to abuse over time, and because of that abuse, he succumbed to his injuries. Does anybody know how they can say that, how they know, or how they can profess to know that this baby had been injured many times and thus died from all that sort of collection of injuries?
No, I don't know the answer to that. I don't know. There may be more information that they were able to obtain from the operation in the jail that I just don't know about. Or like I said, it's possible that it seems like
I've
they've been
been
hard
up
at work,
so
these
early.
investigators. I mean, behind the scenes, they may have gotten evidence, again, neighbors, pictures, maybe there's medical records. I'm not sure, but they were very clear in their latest release that they believe that there's evidence of long-term abuse.
So now, if they're doing the Perkins operation on Jake Harrow, did they do the same thing on Rebecca Harrow in her jail cell? Yes,
that is what my sources say, that there was another Perkins operation for the mom, but a different outcome. I am told that she has stuck to the same story since the beginning, that there was a kidnapping, that her husband, Jake Harrow, would never do anything wrong, that he was a good father, and she hasn't changed her story from what I've been told.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app right now on your phone, and
Thank you. Oh, I'm going to go to him, not this morning, but I will be back earlier this morning. I am going to do that. Lord have mercy. I tell you what, love it. I watched that last night, like when I was going to sleep, and yeah, they're definitely going to get a play today. They definitely are. I am telling you what. I'm just doing this one to break y'all in this morning for some smiley world. Come on now, give me some credit. Come on, hit the thumbs up. Okay, so y'all, I put up something yesterday for it was just a little banner poster, whatever you want to call it, that I made. Perkins operation versus informant, because I was one to be getting like, what? That's the same thing. It's not exactly the same thing. Okay. So it's not exactly, but it basically is, but it's not. Okay. So we're just going to go down that real quick. And California is different. They have their different things. So Perkins operation is basically an undercover police officer posing as an inmate. Okay. They don't get paid. Of course, they have no deals to make or anything like that. They are just posing as an inmate. The suspect, whoever it is unaware that they are speaking to law enforcement. So it's an undercover law enforcement, basically. No Miranda rights has to be required because they've already been read their Miranda rights. And they're just thinking they're talking to somebody else. We'll get into that again later on today, to this Perkins crap. I'll be on here a couple of times. I'm staying on this story. I'm not going anywhere. And there is so much to talk about. There's no way you can get it in one. I don't care if you stay on here 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours. Honey, you ain't going to see Smiley staying on here no 7 hours unless there's a good reason, like trial or whatever. I just ain't going to do it. I ain't got time for it. Now, an informant, they either get paid, especially if they're on the outside, they get paid, or they get some charges. Maybe they got in trouble, dropped me the head, or laughing. Honey, it's true. I got a life. I can barely live now. I'm serious, honey. I'm telling you. I can barely wipe my own butt. I can barely get in the shower. Are you serious right now? Jesus. I got to have time to make me a cup of coffee every now and then. Anyway, seriously. Information. Not information, an informant. Rogue said, damn. Hell, I ran out of toilet paper the other day and didn't even realize it. I'm hollering, run down to the corner. I live by the dollar store. Gosh darn, that Dollar General comes in handy, honey. Thank God honey was here. I don't know what I would have done, but your butt gets sore sitting on the toilet seat for 10 minutes. Thank God it wasn't no line. I'm just saying. Can y'all please send Smiley some toilet paper? If you send me anything, send me some rolls of toilet paper so I can get on here and handle my business with y'all, okay? I'm just saying. I ain't used to this. I'm not no real YouTuber. I'm not no real reporter or I'm trying the best I can. Like my mama used to say, I'm doing the best I can. Well, honey, Smiley's doing the best she can. I need some prompts for that one. Just saying. Just saying. Anyway, so an informant is a regular person, okay, and they have something to gain by it. They are not a police officer. I'm sure everybody knows what an informant is. A rat. Oh God, and they are cooperating for some benefit, something that benefits them. Trust and believe they're not doing it for the victim, but they are doing it for themselves. I'm just saying, I'm throwing that little piece in there. But they are not law enforcement. So there's that. Look, I gotta get my thoughts back together. So we're gonna watch one more short video here. Hold on, let's get back on track.
This is the arrest video of Rebecca and Jake Harrow, parents of a 7-month-old child who they reported missing. Mom said she was attacked by a man who said hola, knocked her out, stole the baby. Obviously, the sheriff and investigators did not believe that story, arrested mom and dad. There's little Emmanuel. He is still missing tonight. But today, the parents made their first appearance inside the courtroom, and Court TV crime and justice correspondent Matt Johnson joining us live from, are you in Riverside tonight, Matt?
I am. So we have the official charges, Vinny, with Riverside District Attorney's Office. So we're in front of the Hall of Justice here in Riverside, California. This is about an hour away from where their home is in also Riverside, Cabazon. And then it's another probably 20 minutes, 30 minutes to where the alleged abduction took place over in that parking lot, and that was in San Bernardino, which is why you had those deputies part of the initial search. So now that we have that taken care of. So you have the alleged mom and dad, who are the alleged baby killers at this point in time, facing real charges at this hour, finally filed by the district attorney's office earlier today, including first-degree murder and then also falsifying a police report. Remember, for the alleged abduction that police said after they were looking into it didn't add up. There was no hola man that was, beating her and then taking the baby. They believe that this baby was killed days before. So they were in court today, reunited for the first time since their arrest on Friday. And wow. In that very small courtroom that I was in, I was within an arm's reach of this defendant, Jake Harrow, who looked angry, showed no emotion. He was seated in the corner of the well, basically where the inmate comes in and out. And across the well in the jury box, his wife, looking down the whole time, she still had a bruise on her eye. And they only glanced and looked at each other when the judge asked them a very important question. Do they each want to postpone their official reading of the charges and their deal or their, their first appearance to next week because of a very important issue? There is kind of a situation where they're both represented by the same attorneys right now, and that can't happen in this jurisdiction. Take a listen.
So what happened today was both defendants, who is Jake and Rebecca, made their initial appearance here in Riverside Department 61. Ordinarily, it would be for an arraignment. However, we have limited information. All we have is a felony complaint at this point. We don't have police reports, anything of that nature. So the Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent people who cannot afford private counsel. Initially, we received word that one or both would have private counsel. It appears that neither have private counsel. We cannot represent both. So for today, we simply continued the arraignment. The arraignment is reset for next Thursday, September 4th. At that point, hopefully we'll have a police report, run a conflict check, and we'll decide to keep one, and then we'll conflict on the other.
So you have the arraignment pushed to next week, about this time next week, September 4th, and that's because one or both have to get a different attorney, because right now they're both indigent and they are represented by the public defender's office. He can't represent both of them. So that was the big takeaway from today. And we also learned a lot of new details in this case from the official complaint.
Y'all can go watch the rest of that on Court TV. Whoops, hold on a minute. Hold on, there's something I wanted to say to that. Y'all can go watch the rest of that on Court TV. Let's put this down because there's something I want to say that. Indigent, my butt. Let's see how long it takes them scammers to get bail. I just want to know how long it's going to take them to get bail, one or both of them. They both have $1 million bail. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's factual, but I had already heard yesterday that they had not, I don't know which one. I don't know. Probably Jake, if anybody, in my opinion, had put in a motion, which if that's true, then it will probably come into play when they go to court Thursday to ask if they have their bond, they want to leave together. You know, look, that made me think, Garrett, $1 million. They think $1 make you holla. Honey, $1 million. Woo-hoo. I'd be screaming, Jesus. But I'm thinking they both want a little taste of their freedom first. I don't know. I almost look for them to make it somehow or another, some way, somehow. I know I sound silly, and I know they have no money, allegedly, but nothing at this point would surprise me. Nothing. Garrett's saying, no way, no way. Yeah, you never know. You never know. I'm not saying they will. I'm just saying nothing would surprise me at this point. But I did tell y'all, what did I tell you? I said, in this, it's going to be at least $1 million. I did say that. I don't think even their family, I don't think nobody's got nothing. They don't own their house. They don't, and again, it's going to be up to the bondsman. Look, I don't think nobody likes them that much or is willing to risk that much, not even their own family, to be honest with you. I really don't. Because y'all got to remember, when you do a bond, unless you do a cash bond, it's not just, I don't care if it's $50 or if it's $10 million or $20,000. If somebody is, standing up for you, their stuff is at risk. They have to sign them papers. So I don't know. I really don't know. I really don't know. But anyway, Smiley, I don't buy Jake's words. The accident, bullcrap, excuse, it don't add up. If, and I'll say if I would still have to see that. If he said he rolled over on baby Emmanuel and accidentally killed him. If you truly rolled over on your baby or you woke up to find your baby lifeless, I don't care if you're in trouble or not already. The first instinct, and I know for many other cases, people are not going to agree with me, and that's fine. We're all adults. I know this from other cases, not just this case. So I know there's going to be some that don't agree with me. Well, he was scared and he had other facing charges. And look, let me get through this, okay? Let me give you my 4 a.m. thoughts this morning. So if he woke up, or anybody woke up, a parent, to find your baby lifeless, the first instinct you're going to have as a parent is not to cover my butt. You're going to panic. You're going to be in grief. You're going to be in shock. And you're going to call 911 without even thinking about it. You're not going to give it a second thought, in my opinion. No parent's natural response is to think about, oh, I rolled over on the baby. My baby's dead. Well, shit. Well, shit. What are we going to do, Rebecca? What are we going to do? I got these charges of child cruelty on me, and we got, I got to go to court for this pew charge, and things are bad. What are we going to do about this little problem in the bed? Jesus Christ, change these sheets, woman. I just don't believe it. I don't think it's going down like that. Are you kidding me? No. You're not going, it's not natural. You can't control your natural responses. It's not natural to have your child, and I don't think the baby died in the bed, period. But if he did, to wake up to a baby in the bed, dead, that's yours, and say, let's hide this. Of course, we know he's cold and calculated. But that would be cold and calculated, right? But that's not no paternal instinct. I'm not saying that they have any, for God's sakes, because we know that they don't. Yeah, it's BS, BS. Then again, like I said, he is cold and calculated. He's a SOB cold and calculated MFer, in my opinion. But I think it was much more sinister than that, than any accident. I do. It was not a rollover on a baby by accident. Plus, there's much more blood. I was already being told that by my sources. You don't get that by rolling over on the baby in the bed. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You just don't. And both of them are responsible, no matter how it happened, accident or not. They both went to extremes to cover this up. So let's just say if Jake froze, which I don't believe it, because he's already done what he's done to promise, and we don't have to continue to keep going through that unless it's necessary. I don't think he would freeze at anything, but let's just say he froze and he was worried about his own self and worried about covering his butt. Think about this. Rebecca is 10 years older than him, at least. Plus, she's the mom. I have a baby in my bed. My husband accidentally rolls over on it or not. I wake up, I'm going to be freaking the F out. I'm sorry. First thing I'm going to do is grab the phone and dial 911. I don't care who's got what charges. I don't care what's going on. I don't care if there's a pile of COKE on my table, which it would not be, but I'm just saying. You can worry about flushing that when they're on their way, honey, when you spot it. People's got to use some common sense. Common sense just is not damn common anymore, if you ask me. But my point is, and then you would go, oh my God. After you dial 911, you go, oh my God, what are we going to do? I got these charges on me, or they're going to probably take me to jail, or what are we going to do to get out of that? Something like that. So everybody needs to get real with the program, because Smiley's just going to get real with you. I'm going to get raw with you. Period. The truth is the truth. Thank you. Wait, what? I mean, the truth is the truth. So even if Jake froze, y'all got to think Rebecca was older than him. And that was her baby. You can't tell me she didn't freak out. You know, she didn't reach for the phone. She didn't scream for help. And the 2-year-old didn't come running in there. Not that the 2-year-old could do anything. Okay? That's not what I'm saying. Maybe she could have been like Katie and run out to the neighbors and yell for help. Oh, somebody help. What do we do? Even if it was with her windows rolled up, just saying. These are my 4 a.m. thoughts, y'all. I'm done hyped up on coffee now. Yeah, you see that window broke? You see that window broke at the side of the house? Much more sinister than y'all think. They need to be, hopefully they did check for any blood. They said they have evidence, and that's one thing I believe. I do believe this police department has more evidence to prove. That's a scary thought. Maybe they got in a fight and maybe he threw the baby out the window. Oh my God. I don't know if that's what you said or not, but that's what just come to my head, honey. I've been watching too many movies. Actually, I used to watch Lifetime all the time. Those are true stories. Ugh. Anyway. But for both parents to skip straight past emergency help, nah. Nah, even in cover-up mode, that's not panic. That's just a pact, and they've made a pact. Hey Jude, you know I got to throw them punches when I can, honey. You know that's a pact. Everybody didn't catch that. Everybody didn't catch that. Y'all see why I put Smiley don't care, but you see why I put my disclaimer up this morning? I'm on a roll this morning. I'm on a roll. But I believe they made a pact, okay? And she chose. It was sinister. They planned. It was pre-planned. It was pre-planned. This is pre-planned. I'm telling y'all. Ain't no accident in here anywhere. There's no accident. Now, whatever police can prove, that's on them. That ain't on Smiley. Smiley's just using a little bit of common sense this morning. Hey, Bama Cat. Hey, Jude. Smiley be saucy this morning. Thank you, hey, Jude. I appreciate you. Yeah. So we were talking about even if she went out screaming angel wings. Okay, we'll let you in on the joke. Even if she went out screaming or got in her car with the windows up, you know, Katie did that. She act like she was looking for her son. Why, with the windows rolled up with the timestamp, Katie, for Sebastian. So why didn't, as a mother, if this was an accident, Rebecca go out screaming to the neighbors, help, help? You kind of get it? You need some more coffee, honey. I'm just saying, y'all are going to make me say things. You need coffee. You need some more coffee. But it's the truth. It was no accident. I'm telling y'all, I don't care how I don't want to say CHOP it up, because when that come to mind of this biatch bought a saw. And I hope to God they didn't do nothing like that. So, But anyway, I don't feel it was an accident. And if he did go under the Perkins operation unknowingly, and he did tell that, I think he was making up a story. I don't think it was true. And I think that law officers know that he didn't roll over on the baby, and that was not true. So instead, this story drifts into tossing him out also like garbage. That's not grief. That's cruelty. And he sure knew how to listen. He said, according to news reports and stuff, Jake said, and I don't believe a word Jake says, but Jake's scenario, allegedly, according to this operation thing, Jake said he rolled over on the baby and he took him and put him in the trash, which none of that makes any sense whatsoever. But then the word is he took the police out because he wanted to put him where he could go visit. Well, honey, he knows how to use a GoFundMe page to raise funds for a funeral. That was another thing. We know he knows how to do that. He knows how to scam. He knows how to get money. He knows how to... They know... No, I ain't going to give them credit for knowing how to cry them fake tears, because they need to go on over in Hollywood, and they should have got some lessons while living there, because neither one of them know a damn thing about acting. I'll tell you that. But this isn't about buying Jake's words. It's about their actions. You know, that screams louder than any excuses, in my opinion. Both he and Rebecca self-chose preservation over their child, accident or not. Once you choose to hide or dump or lie, you done crossed that line that no one with love or any heart at all could ever cross, in my opinion. So I have to think logically. I have to say two things. I have to, in my opinion, I have to go on one hand and say, if it was true, I can understand being scared, but it already looks like this was planned. And he, I can understand being scared. He already had a child cruelty. He's going to court. He's facing these many years. He would face this if they didn't believe it, and that, and that, and that. None of that matters because he's facing it anyway now, right? But then I think no matter what, at the very same time, if a horrible accident happened of any kind with your child, you as a parent are supposed to naturally love so much that if any accident happened of any kind, it doesn't matter what you've done before, you would, whether it was rolling over on them or they fell and hit their head on the coffee table or fell out of their swing and you was nowhere around. You're not going to toss your baby in the trash. You're not going to not call the police. None of that. Think about it. That's not natural. That's not natural. Yourself, that's not natural. You don't think about it. You don't go, oh, let's see, I'm in trouble for XYZ. No, you're in shock. You're sad. Your heart is broken. You can't breathe. Your chest is tight. Your instinct should be to call 911. Also, if that was true, Why didn't mom reach for the phone to call 911? But you want me to believe Rebecca, being at least 10 years older and, been through stuff and all that, she didn't even reach for the phone? She didn't think twice? No. It was no accident, in my opinion. Then the next issue I have is you go, okay, well, another one bites the dust. Really? Another one bites the dust, so I guess we'll just put him in the trash can. That's fine, and nobody will ever know. Come on, man. Come on, y'all can't be that stupid. And by the way, does anybody know, are they getting warrants, or have they got warrants, or do you even need warrants in California? Has anybody searched the freaking landfills? I'm just wondering. And Garrett, you're right. They had it planned. I believe that with all my heart. Because also there was a statement somewhere that Jake said during this operation, he didn't say we anything. He said, I wasn't never going to tell. Now that I believe they wasn't never going to tell. And unlike any of these other cases, it wasn't like they had kids that were fixing to go to school, or, they were allegedly now great friends with the family or anything like that. So they could have up and moved. They could have did anything. I don't know. So I don't believe that. And I'm having trouble with all that. And if any of these were true, bury him the proper way. A funeral. Because for one, again, he knows how to work the system. He knows how to use the GoFundMe pages. And it's not a matter of money anyway. So again, I say BS. We want the truth. We have them in jail now. So that part's done. The charges are filed. We want to know where baby Emmanuel is, and we want some truth. So the world can give him a proper burial. And Jake the fake, with his cohort Rebecca, will never be able to visit his little grave or see the light of day again, in my opinion, or be around no more kids, in my opinion. I don't believe Rebecca was okay with all that. I believe Rebecca's the one that did it. That's my opinion. I think she's the one who did this. Y'all want to know what Smiley thinks? I know how bad he looks. I know what he did. I know what he's capable of doing to other children. But I think Rebecca did this. I think that's also why her charge was up to murder 1. Murder 1. That's why they upped her charges to first-degree murder. And at the bottom, she's got the felony, where his is still a misdemeanor. I think he, in some of this I just said, is a little truth to his lie, is scared because of his charges, is going to get in trouble. Something like that. And so they're sticking to this story. That's what I think. Let's watch this real quick. Let's watch this.
especially in her situation, if she's sticking with the story that they were giving originally and he seems to be cooperating, what does that mean for her case?
It doesn't bode well because she's someone that is doubling down on her lie. There's no evidence of this kidnapping, right? I mean, law enforcement pretty quickly debunked it. Again, in this day and age with technology, video surveillance, that's something that police officers, detectives can vet pretty quickly. Now, sometimes criminals, they go down with the ship. They maintain that lie all throughout trial. And we've seen juries here on Law and Crime return guilty verdicts pretty quickly. Jurors aren't stupid. They know when they're being lied to. And when there's no evidence of this kidnapping and there's overwhelming evidence that Emmanuel died days before he was even reported missing, well, she better change her story. And the problem is once you do, that video, those statements to law enforcement, it's all coming in, right? Those lies, and jurors are not going to like that. And it's going to be very tough sledding for the defense when you have a client like Rebecca Haro who persists in her lies. That's why most of the time defendants are better off saying nothing than saying lies like this.
Right. And it just goes back to how this story even began in the first place with the lies that she allegedly told TV cameras, and it's just gone from there. If you're a defense attorney, if you're defending either of them, Jake or Rebecca Haro, I mean, knowing that, and again, he may be cooperating with them in some ways. She apparently is not at this point, but like, are you going for a not guilty verdict if you're a defense attorney, like reasonably in your mind, like you're not going to win this thing? I think a lot of people would say, like, what are you really going for? Like, what's a good outcome for a defense attorney when you take on this case?
Yeah, it's a great question, Chris. So this is what I would do if I were representing Jake and if I were representing Rebecca. For Jake, it's really got to be about mitigation at this point. And there's really kind of two schools of thought here. There are some people who think that murderers should not be given any consideration whatsoever, whether they plea, whether they cooperate, whether they identify the body. There are other prosecutors and folks who are watching who believe, listen, if Jake Haro cooperates, he identifies where Emmanuel Haro was buried or dumped, maybe he should get something, maybe the possibility of parole. Obviously, if you're the defense here, if you get a 25 to life deal, that's really a home run for someone like Jake Haro, given his history and given that this is a murder case, right? It's really not going to get better than that. But even if you keep that open, that possibility of parole, I think that's a win. If your client doesn't die in prison, again, I'm not saying that I would defend anyone like Jake Haro, but whoever is defending him, if you secure that, I think that's a win. I think for Rebecca, obviously she's a woman. She may be able to pull off some sort of finger pointing, some sort of defense that she too was a victim. We've kind of seen her mugshot. I don't know if she was abused or not. We don't know, but I don't think you're ever going to get a walk or a not guilty in a case like this. If you do, that's the best defense lawyering that I certainly can ever remember. You'd want to put some sort of mitigation package together. Say it was Jake that did this. Jake beat her. He was violent as well. She's certainly going to get some time, but maybe it'll be on felony, child abuse and neglect, and not actual murder. I think that's what you have to shoot for if you're defending Rebecca.
Yeah, and at this point they have public defenders, and we'll see how this trial plays out. But certainly the search for the remains of Emmanuel at the time of this recording continue on. Nima Rahmani, always great to have you on Law and Crime. Thanks for being with us.
Of course, Chris. Thanks for having me as always.
That will do it for On the Case, presented by Law and Crime.
Y'all go over and sub to Full Credit to Law and Crime. Sub to them. They always got some good stuff. But yeah, I just think I think it was her, but again, this is her first time in trouble. So she's sticking to her story. She is older. She is pretty strong. She is, I guess, I don't know her and I don't know her personality, but it seems, look, she's sneaky as well. Okay. She's sneaky as well. I have also questioned those other charges she put on her ex-husband. But then again, I don't know. I can't say that because sometimes well, I can't say that, but I think the entire time that she was, those dates did make it very, where I think she could have been doing that to him just to be doing it, because those dates are very close. And I think she was playing best friends to the sister to go over there and see Jake at that time. She left her other children. Y'all, everybody forgets she has other children. Okay. Listen, she's not this whatever, she's not Little Miss Perfect. None of us are, but she's not Little Miss Perfect. And I think she knows things. And she's lived with Jake long enough. Now, I'm not saying by any means, no, don't get me wrong, please. I'm not saying by any means he's innocent. He was not part of this. He is every part of this. He was there when it happened, in my opinion. Whatever happened, he helped cover up. But I don't know. I'm beginning to think, in my opinion, it was her that did the deed. That's just me. And also, I have heard, again, I don't know, you heard them when they did the press conference. They're not putting out that information, but I had a source that said they found mom's blood and baby's blood. But you heard the press conference say, they know through evidence. So evidence could be digital, it could be forensic, it could be anything. We don't know. We don't know. But we'll see. I just wanted y'all to know my thoughts this morning, period. And, these were my 4:30 a.m. raw thoughts. I don't trust anything Jake says under Perkins operation or Folger's operation. I'm just saying, or under informant operation. I'm just saying, don't let excuses blind you from the truth. Don't let them twist a baby's death into a cover story. Emmanuel deserves better. All the children deserves better. And just because Emmanuel is assumed dead doesn't mean his voice is going to be silenced. We're going to speak loud. I'm going to speak loud. And the world is speaking loud. We want justice right now. But that's all I wanted to tell you this morning. And I will see you later today. I'll see you in the streets. YouTube streets, that is. Y'all hit them thumbs up buttons. Love you. Thank you all. Thank you for being here. See you later.